So we heard the Cubs president of baseball operations, Jed Hoyer, when it comes to Shota Imanaga. No timetable right now. Hopefully that progression, well, it starts to ramp up just a little bit. And speaking of progression, our guy Bruce, always progressive. He's joining us right here. And, of course, with no Shota Imanaga, no Justin Steele, how big is it for someone else, whoever it may be, to step up in their absence?
Well, right now, they're trying to bring around Ben Brown. He's been in and out. And, of course, when you look at the other pitcher, you have Horton now, who pitched 6 and, probably on his way to being a regular contributor. But they've lost their depth because of the injuries. They lost it in spring training because of Assad. They lost it now recently because of Imanaga and because of Steele being out all year. So you need depth. I mean, you can't just say, okay, we have 5 now, we're good. You're not good. You have another 4 months of the season coming up here, and someone's either going to be ineffective or get hurt, so you have to build that depth up.
Yeah, Ray, Boyd, Tyone, Horton, they've all answered the call when Craig has called upon those gentlemen. And does it hurt just a little bit that maybe a guy that you could have called up from down on the farm, Jordan Wicks, has just recently been sent to the IL?
I don't really think so. I mean, I don't think Wicks had unfortunately done enough work to show that he was being promoted. I don't know what you saw, Ryan, but, they tried to move him in from spring training on, and the numbers were against him. But he really, I don't know if they feel comfortable with him as one of the 5.
Yeah, and sometimes you wonder if it's a lefty-righty matchup, because you do have 2 lefties out with Boyd only being in there. But I think the thing is you have to extend somebody. We saw somebody last night in Chris Flexen who came in and threw 2 innings, right? I know they played 11 innings last night, but it's really not sustainable to have 5 or 6 guys come in every single night out of the bullpen. So you take a look at what their relievers have been able to do here. Brad Keller, Chris Flexen. So, I mean, who do you think realistically, Flexen was one of those guys that was starting down in AAA, where I think he potentially could go into the rotation and eat up some innings?
Well, Keller told me that if they wanted him to start, he'd be thrilled to do it as well. So, I mean, he was a starter and a good one for the first 4 years with Kansas City. So either one of them would be, but as Counsell said to me today, well, they're part of the mix here. He basically said, that's a hard question to answer because we need them on a daily basis. We have to have them 2 or 3 times a week rather than stretch them out and just one. Who replaces them? They're out there working for more guys, and we'll hear the next day or so that they've added a pitcher or 2, but we don't know about how they'll fit into what Counsell wants to do and how they'll pitch with the Cubs. Right now, he has the luxury of Flexen and Keller both pitching very well out of the bullpen.
How luxurious would it be if there was an extra arm that was added in the next few days, as you alluded to, and you were able to stretch out a Flexen or a Keller or maybe even a Drew Pomeranz?
But the problem, Cole, is it doesn't happen overnight. Look at Ray. Look how long it took Ray. Ray started at 3 2/3, 4 1/3, then 5. And they were all good, but you had to live with the less innings as he's progressing. Your bullpen's going to wear down if you're using somebody for their starts. They're going to have to use 5 to 6 innings of bullpen when they're building up. So that presents a different problem.
Would it be something like we saw with Brad Keller and Cade Horton's maiden voyage, where Keller gets the first inning, he's the opener, so to speak, and then we see some of the reinforcements come in because the Cubs starting pitching ranks, everything ranks so high, especially on the offensive side of the ball. But you look at this, 19th, 13th, 24th, there's still so much left to be desired.
Right. I just don't know how realistic it is right now to have an opener. You need whoever's going to open at the end of that game. Good point. But they're in good shape right now. The problem is, the good news is that Imanaga had a great day today. He threw long, then he threw in the bullpen. He did PFPs. He had a full workout day. Counsell was very enthusiastic about it. But, he also alluded to the fact that as soon as the Cubs go on the road starting Monday, he's likely going to Arizona to begin the rehab. Is it going to take 3 weeks, 4 weeks? It's not going to be short. He's going to have to build up kind of like it was in spring training.
Yeah, I just think that's so important over the next month to try to, you said Craig Counsell, it really is just trying to find the way to piece this together. And, I'm just throwing it out there. But if you look at Brad Keller and Chris Flexen's, can you get a combined start out of those guys and then say, hey, Pomerantz, you're the long guy. I need you to throw 2 or 3 innings out.
So
of the
that's
bullpen.
one game. So
Yeah,
what do you do the next 2 or 3
Exactly.
days?
That's the problem because you don't have enough depth. So you have, I mean, that's why a guy like Colin Ray has been so invaluable because they didn't think that they would get that out of him. And then being able to have Cade Horton come up and throw 5 or 6 innings.
I give the front office a lot of credit for
100%.
having built this depth, but you see how quickly it goes away, right? I mean, one guy like Wicks, they don't necessarily like his progress. Then you have Assad has been hurt for 4 months with an oblique, okay? 4 months. He missed all of spring training and up until now. So that's been a big hurt for him because the fact is he was so good at any role that they put him in last year and the year before.
Real quick before we get you out of here, how impressive has Craig Counsell been all season long, managing not only the starting rotation, but the bullpen and the back end with so many moving parts going on?
Well, I think he was impressive to me last year, getting 83 wins out of a team that I didn't think was that good. Okay. He has better pieces now. He has the young players like Pete Crow, Armstrong, Bush, Amaya before he got hurt. They were all in their second full year. You're seeing the progress of them. You're also seeing pitchers like Brown stepping it up. So I think, and then you have a great player like Tucker that's added to the mix. So they've done a good job of making this a better team. I think Counsell's always been a good manager. I think he just has better personnel, more progressed young players to work with right now.